Shit, I want you to want more. Shit, if you can, I want you to want more than me. I'm the one. This one dedicated to Les Brown. You wishing that somebody helped you. You gotta learn to believe in yourself, even when nobody else does. You gotta learn to get time to yourself. Sometimes you just gotta be selfish. You not around to come help, but I'm on my green like a shelter. You know if I don't tell you nothing else, it's gonna take for you to believe. You to believe, you to believe. It only take for you to believe. You to believe, you to believe. It's gonna take for you to believe. You to believe, man, it really only take for you to believe. Yeah. It ain't no stopping me now. It ain't no blocking me neither. I just gotta put it down properly now. They wanna talk to me now. All them bitches with the stalking me now. I was been supposed to be on top of motherfuckers was knocking me down. Why they was knocking me down? I know you can't, but you rolling now. My ambition can't control it now. Pick your head up right now and hold it high. Cause the fan the only thing you holding down. It ain't no replacing my drive. They can't do it like I do it. All the shit was coming from deep down inside. I see you jocking my style. Yeah.
When someone says, I can't change, some part of them wants to change, but the payoffs for his present behavior are greater than the payoffs for a changed behavior, or his fear of change is too great. Ladies and gentlemen, it takes courage to live your dreams. It takes courage to manifest your greatness. It takes courage to decide to live.
You wishing that somebody helped you. You gotta learn to believe in yourself, even when nobody else does. You gotta learn to get time to yourself. Sometimes you just gotta be selfish. You not around to come help, but I'm on my green like a shelter. You know if I don't tell you nothing else, it's gonna take for you to believe. You to believe, you to believe. It only take for you to believe. You to believe, you to believe. It's gonna take for you to believe. You to believe, man, it really only take for you to believe. Yeah. It take for you to believe. I wear my heart on my sleeve. We taught to never give in. Bruise up my elbows and knees. If you want it, you just think of me, dog. I'm right here whenever you need. Want that success like you breathe. Work out, you barely fatigue. Going hard until you never get tired. You in a whole nother league. I need a couple of things. I need a couple of rings. Don't you worry about them. None of setbacks. I got a couple of schemes. I got a couple of things that I need to get out the way just to follow my dream. Yeah. I want you to want more. Sometimes I want you to want more than me. Shit. I want you to believe. I want you to dig deep. Yeah. I want you to shine from the inside out. You hear me? You get it from the inside out. You start shining from the inside, it's gonna show on the outside. I want you to believe. You wishing that somebody helped you. You gotta learn to believe in yourself, even when nobody else does. You gotta learn to get time to yourself. Sometimes you just gotta be selfish. You not around to come help, but I'm on my green like a shelter. You know if I don't tell you nothing else, it's gonna take for you to believe. You to believe, you to believe. It only take for you to believe. You to believe, you to believe. It's gonna take for you to believe. You to believe, man, it really only take for you to believe. Yeah.
I guess I'm not too good at loving me. I guess that's why I can't live comfortably. So that's what happens when you don't got good company. Ain't no love here. I hope this whiskey come for me. Whiskey blanket. My bedroom's like a club to me. My shit bang, yeah. This bottle's like a snub to me. Who's to hang with? Fuck what you heard, my mind is free. That's my ego. So you can't get no love from me. You don't know me, bro. If anybody asks me one more time to smile a little, I'd say you are standing in my way. Yeah, you don't know me, bro. If anybody catch me outside the show in the middle of conversation, yeah, I'm a real man, no realist to get to. I guess I'm not too good at to bomb another round, I need it. Save my cash for it. Dollars, quarters, nickels, shit, I'm fiending. Use a passport as a coaster flying while I drown in what I asked for. Smiling, bet y'all never see me frown, but deep inside, Jesus Christ, I can't lie, things haven't changed through my time, but peace of mind is still the hardest to obtain. You're no evil, yeah, not like my demons, my amigos, yeah, we exist on different planes. I guess I'm not too good at loving me. I guess that's why I can't live comfortably. So that's what happens when you don't got good company. Ain't no love here. I hope this whiskey come from me no evil.
Hey, yo, what's going on? Happy Tuesday. Happy afternoon. Hopefully you guys are sitting pretty. Not much of a pump, but it's something. Go ahead and cut over and start talking away and doing the thing that we do. Hola! I shaved, and I don't look like a homeless man. Let's go ahead and bring up the chat. Watching a little bit of crypto YouTube this morning. Get some sentiment on the market, what people are thinking across the board. And I don't know what to say. All right, go and jump into it. Once again, just kind of reiterating the same thing that's been said for the past couple of days, because at the moment, nothing's really changed. Right now, I am sitting long on BTC from about 20,080, 20,070. I'm sitting long on Ethereum from about 1,010, 1,012, and I'll remain so. All right, because that's the position we have. There is no opposing positions in our way at the moment. Obviously, I think there's going to be another leg down. I do think it's a possibility, considering the fact that we talked about this yesterday. We do have what looks like to be a singular downtrend, and this is the first major separation from that trend. So there's definitely the possibility that we do see one more lower low. Once again, there could always be the possibility that it extends the B wave a little bit. So theoretically, we could see some more downside, but not put in a lower low, but put in a larger ABC structure, which that would be exactly what we're looking for in order to see more downside. Now, because we've broken the major macro local low, 28,800 and 1,300 respectively on Ethereum, I really can't have the long bias anymore. I have no bias whatsoever, all right? Because right now, it's any man's game. The market's going to act unpredictably, try to shake people out of positions left and right. So, going forward, I don't have a direct plan. I do think that I'm still going to be more eager to hold longs, despite the fact that we have lost support and we don't have any major support until probably about 16.5. But I will hold on to shorts as well and see what the market does. I need some sort of more definitive structure to really give me a bias. Right now, really don't have that. So we're playing it by ear as the setups get made. Now, LTC is still my viable short option. You can see as a much better structure for a short to the downside if that is going to happen over the course of the next couple of days, if so week, without forming anything on BTC or Ethereum. Because right now we only have a single uptrend. All right, there is no separation from trend in this. All right, if you want to go down to the 2-minute time frame and tell me, but Kite, there is. It's not worth it, man. All right, keep a higher perspective. You'll have a much easier time mentally in the market. All right, the last viable short on BTC was right here. Okay, I did take that, but I took profit on it right about here. No. You live and you learn. Well, you can't really learn because it's just simply unlucky. Market didn't perform the way I wanted it to. But that's pretty much across the board. Let's check on the US 100. US 100 did have a nice ABC bottom right here, and we're seeing a pop to the upside. We're sitting at a support region, at least I can see from what I have marked. So, I mean, this, I'm not saying we're at bottom, all right, because I can't predict bottom. But in terms of market structure on the US 100, we do have the macro ABC with a nice ABC within the C wave. So at the moment, this is probably the best chance for bottom. The last chance we had was if we could have just gotten back above this level and completed the correction there. It just needed one more leg down. Let's check out the SPY. SPY is sort of in the same situation, but we do have to come back about 380. All right, we're sitting at some support levels now. If we do break this though, all right, you can see we broke it once. Market was able to come back up and get back above that support. If we break this 372, it is not looking pretty until about 320. All right, so we'll see if the market wants to break that low, but it's the same exact structure as the US 100. We have ABC and ABC within it, except this one is not back above its A. So, I mean, structure-wise on those two markets, it's looking good. I guess you could say the same thing about BTC as well from a higher time frame. We have A, we have B, we have C, except we have to get back above 28,000. No, we have to get back above 25,600 in order to confirm more upside, at least momentarily. So we have a long ways to go. But I was watching the funding rate past a couple hours, and we did dip decently into the negatives. So people are willing to short strong enough to flip that funding rate. So there is a lot of built up liquidity for shorts in this region. So, I mean, we could see a little bit of a melt up to the upside, most definitely. All right, it's never a clear-cut case. The market's going to act erratically because we're in a derivatives-based market. So that's why it's always important that if you do get a good position, hold on to it for dear life. There's going to be times where you get that position, you hold on to it, you're in decent profit like 200%, and it might turn to none. All right, it hurts more than taking a small loss when the trade first opens and gets stopped out 5 minutes later. But that does not mean that that is a wrong thing to do. All right, so I'm definitely leaving money on the table, letting it see what it does, because we never know when the end is nigh. Let me check on AMD real quick too. AMD's got a nice little ABC setup that I've been watching. And we're pretty much at support as well from this last ABC here. If we fail there, it's going to be a tumble to the downside, most definitely. But that's pretty much it. Like I said, LTC is my out, my escape plan. Other than that, really got nothing going on. I sold my KDA, I'll be frank, when we were in this region right here. All right. So, haven't bought it back yet. I'm just being patient. But there is a nice short setup that might be an availability coming here in the future. You can see uptrend, downtrend, uptrend. You can even see an ABC separation for this B wave, which is a good sign. So I might be trying to short scalp this for a lower low. I mean, that's good, some good percentage there. If we can get an entry here, that's about 30%. So I'll see what goes on. I mean, we're going to have to try to take some stabs at the downside in order to solidify support in the future. Just like I showed off, once again, the 3K bottom over here. All right, this one was the same exact thing. All right, large downtrend, cut to the upside, downtrend, ABC within this. All right, so the time will come someday. We don't know when, but there's definitely going to be this retesting period before we really get going in the market. So expect downside, expect sideways while you're holding on to trades. It's never going to be an absolute rocket ship the next day. Maybe, you never know. It could be something like this. I had uptrend, downtrend, uptrend. You can even see there's a nice little retest right here. Or downside. We'll go ahead and pull up the chat here and get going. Say hi. Cruise through today. Made some more tenderloins this morning. Had a good time. I'm telling you, dude, these non-stick pans, fantastic. In my opinion, we are on the cusp of a major stock market crash. Well, you're kind of late to the party. It's already down like, what, 60% or some shit? All right. I definitely know that there's more room in the cards. As I outlined with that support on the US 100 and the SPY, if we do fail these last couple of supports, there's another rock to be thrown in the propellers pretty soon. I mean, US 100, it's down 36%. SPY is down about 25%. Not too shabby. But I see what you mean. I just don't pretend to know what's going to happen. I play the supports, I play the resistances. Let the market carry me with the waves. When are you going to make homemade churros? I'll have to look up some recipes. I don't know how to make those. What do you, Kite, making a steak and egg burrito right now? That's what's up, man. I haven't got fancy with my steak. Like I don't even make sides. You know, I'm like a brute force kind of guy. Just cook the steak, eat it. Half the time I'm done with it before I even get back upstairs. I gotta thank you for the Kite calculator and R&R Excel sheet. Well, I mean, they're not even Excel sheets anymore, man. I mean, I have a link to the website for a better UI of the Kite calculator. I didn't make it. All right, I made the formula. People with other talents made the Excel sheets and stuff like that. Now, I didn't even make the R&R sheet, but that one's good as well. Definitely. Listen, man, I was on your side last year. All right, I hate the thought of it, man. Because I know that I'll do fine. All right, I got backup plans. I can play the market by ear. I have kind of a formulated plan on how to handle shit like that. But other people that just hold their retirement accounts, and they're going to get wrecked. So like last year, I predicted that when the NASDAQ index, the actual company got to $214, that's when it would begin, and we wouldn't see any sort of rebound until 74. I hope I'm dead wrong on that bottom. All right, because I don't want to see it. Nobody wants to see that. Is it an inevitability? Time will tell. How do you know where to put your ABCs to use the fib? Well, I mean, the ABCs form naturally, and I take advantage of the levels that are set by them. I can prepare for an ABC to be created, just like we're doing on BTC and Ethereum. All right, we can say that we only have a downtrend, uptrend, all right, and we're waiting on one more lower low, but we don't know if it's going to be a multi-part where we have to put in one more higher low, one more higher high, and then we go ahead and see some downside, if you know what I'm talking about. Will you cook on live stream? I don't know. Like, I would have to do it from my phone, and I don't really I cook very fast because you just sous vide the steak, and then you throw it on the skillet for a minute on each side, and then boom, you're done. It's not really, fantastically exciting. How are my feet? Left foot, it's doing okay. So it's hanging in there. I'm trying to spread out my toes more. You know what I'm saying? Get that natural foot look. Can I get the secret formula to the Krabby Patty? I wish. I would make so much money. Could you see this entire downtrend from the all-time high as a macro A? Yeah, I mean, you could. Most definitely. It could easily turn into that. But we would have a pretty significant relief rally in between there. It might look even very, very similar to, over here. Where this was one of the very few times. I mean, we really don't see double bottom ABCs anymore. And if we do, usually we always have you know, an ABC within the C wave. But you could technically say that this was an A, a B, and a C without putting in a lower low. But you could use this as your entry right here. So there might be something like that in the future. Most definitely. This could be an ABCA. And we might be able to see, you know, a B wave come in and then possibly, you know, something like that along the lines. Because, I mean, we got what, like 700, 800 days? Typically, we don't see major price action until a couple hundred days after the halving anyway. So, I mean, we got some time. In no way, shape, or form am I projecting upside to a new all-time high. If it happens, I'm extremely grateful, but I'm definitely not expecting it whatsoever. Do I think there's a relief rally in the future? Of course. But, you know, we'll see what happens, and if there's short setups in there, and they're nice and fat short setups, I'll hold them. I'll definitely hold them. Hi, Kite. Thank you for making things simple with ABCs. My mind and charts are much clearer now. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. That's all you can ever hope for. I try, Jose. I try. I know people are in very sympathetic, nervous states when they trade, so I feel like music like this helps a little bit. At this point, are you set for life? No, because some of the things I intend to do will cost lots of money, like a stupid amount. Like I said, man, I want to create that retreat where people can escape productivity for a little bit and, you know, just chill out. So, probably gonna have to lobby some people to get some things, you know, in my favor. Might even have to create some sort of religion so that I get some passes on some stuff. Who knows? But if I wanted to just live life, I could probably get by. Because realistically, I only need about what? Like 30K a year as a single male to live comfortably. Now, if you got kids and stuff, 30K ain't cutting it. But Kite, if the stock market would dump with an 80% correction, do you think crypto would decouple? No, it would not. Because I mean, you got to think about like how money flows. All right, people think that crypto needs to be this hedge against inflation, blah blah blah, and it is. But you got to think people are invested in crypto just as much as they're invested in stocks. So if your crypto hasn't fallen as much as the stock market, all right, that gives you opportunity to take some of the money that you have left over in crypto and distribute it evenly throughout their other stocks, you know, DCA across the board. So money's going to leave the stock market to maybe buy crypto, and crypto, you know, money from the crypto market might leave to go buy other things. Diamonds. Oh, a trading cult. No. It's not a cult, all right? The only reason why I would have to create a religion is to get around, like, sacrament laws. You know how, like, Native Americans can take psychedelics because of, you know, quote-unquote religion and stuff like that. I feel like that would be the only way to get around it. Unless by that time, psilocybin or, you know, LSD or, you know, ayahuasca, DMT might be legal. Now, absolutely no shape or form am I going to force that upon people at the retreat. If they want to just come there and use one of the dark retreat facilities, that'll be fine. You can produce your own psychedelics naturally. Be my guest. But sometimes it is just easier to pop one in your mouth. Do you think that there will be a possibility that we will never see a new all-time high on BTC? It's always a possibility, but I doubt. Unless they can do like a culture reset and reestablish like security in people's minds for, you know, authoritarian figures, maybe. But as long as there is this divergent of people realizing that we don't need to go about the world in this way, Bitcoin will become more and more of a threat. Because I mean, it's a fact. Like when people had to rely on government as much as they do instead of living in these apathetic boxes, not knowing what's going on outside their homes. Yeah, people trusted the government, would die for the government, but we don't do that anymore. People are starting to understand that it doesn't have to be all blood and, bombs. I think you need 5,000 followers to be religion. Well, shit. Got 19K right here. I doubt any of you would sign up for a psychedelic religion, but hey, the offer is there in the future once things start to get going. And 5,000 is a absurdly low number. That's all? I feel like I can go to a mall parking lot for about 7 days and recruit that many people. Hey guys, how would you like to do drugs in the woods and have a great time? I mean, who doesn't sign up for something like that? That's a no-brainer. Literally, because you could just leave your brain at home. Kite, maybe a stupid question, but should distance between X and A be bigger than A to B? Not necessarily. I'm struggling to see, like, mentally what you're talking about. I mean, they could be the same size, but you can't have a shorter A wave than B wave, because then the B would go past the origin point. And then that's just not an ABC. Do a DMT live stream? No, I'm good. It's like Alan Watts says, once you get the message, hang up the phone. Ain't no reason to keep going back. Now, I do approve that, like, going back there naturally is an entirely different way of doing things that I do approve of. But I do think DMT is like a good way to, like, click that switch in someone's brain where they're like, wow, there's a lot more to this. And then from there, I do think you should learn how to do things on your own. Because, I mean, at that point, it's just a skill you can acquire. I don't know if you re-asked that question or if I'm reading it for the second time. He said, do you think there's a possibility that we don't see a new all-time high on BTC? Like I said, I went on a whole rant about it. Can you explain the BTC halving and why there's a rally around it? It's simple supply and demand. All right, so typically Bitcoin follows these cycles where it's in the media, in the news, people are talking about it. You can't go to a restaurant without a server that knows about Bitcoin. And then after a couple years of just downside, sideways price action, it seems to just kind of slip people's minds. Now, for the few people that are still trading it, and I say few, but there's most definitely hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people trading Bitcoin. All right, they're still trying to acquire Bitcoin. So some of those people are locking up Bitcoin that would never touch the light of day again until we see $1 million. So that's putting away supply. All right. And then, all right, the halving comes. All right. And now you have a supply shock from people that are locking up and not selling their Bitcoin. All right. And then the halving happens where people are now not willing to sell their Bitcoin because the circulation has gotten halved. So miners typically are the people that are constantly selling to the market. All right. There is some miners that will mine and hold on to it, but they still need to pay their electricity cost. So they're willing to sell some of their BTC. Now they can't sell as much BTC for as many dollars because they're getting paid half the amount. So therefore, supply shock. Then you don't even need, institutions and big scary banks. All right. You don't need ETFs. All right. There's such a supply shock that even the normal people that have been trading during the bear market need to start paying more and more and more. And then we start breaking resistances, and that flips all the alarm systems and all these retail banks and trading and hedge funds. And they're like, oh my God, BTC's going again. And then they hop in and then you see a big bull rally. And then also, your grandma gets involved because I saw something on the TV about this orange feller. Kite, what do you know about the flat pattern? It's also an ABC pattern. I think we just covered that with the past bear market. We had an A, we had a B, and we had a C, except we did not put in a lower low. But we did have an ABC within the C wave, which could have been your hedge. As long as we were above this point, you could have held along. So if something happens like that in the future, I'll play it. You never know how the market's going to work itself out, so why worry about what's going to happen before it even does? You ain't God. How much of a stop loss do you usually use, sir? What time frame? I usually use a 1% stop loss, but that's based on my own personal preference. If you have a day job where you can't watch the charts as much, you might want to use a 2%, 3%. That way you don't have to constantly re-enter trades. I do that because it affords me higher R&R, and I can be a little bit more risky with my leverage. But if you do need extra safety, you have to tone down your leverage, and you won't get as much R&R, but theoretically you should get stopped out less, so it might work out in your favor. In terms of time frame, I tend to stick on higher time frames. It's more about the perspective of where you're at in the structure of the market. All right, so if I'm looking at the market from a higher time frame and I can see we have an A and a B, I want to go down to a little bit smaller time frame and see if I can find an ABC within the B wave to connect to my macros, see if that makes sense. Am I in any shorts right now? No. All right, there is no short setup on BTC or Ethereum quite yet. There is one on LTC, but it's not triggered, so I can't get into it until we come back below that resistance. What do you think of the macro double top being a regular corrective ABC with the B going past? No. I'm not going to, assimilate my rules because I want it to work out for a certain thing. I mean, this is just plain and simple. We had A, we had B, and we had C. All right. I know. It would be absolutely fantastic if this was the A and this was the B and this was the C. All right, but it's just not. Now, it's not bad. All right, it doesn't mean that if we get back above this, I'm not happy and I'm not bullish. It just means it's just not. In terms of setup, all I have right now is A, B, C within the C wave. So, I mean, the levels that really matter to me at this moment in time would be this and this on a macro scale. That's 32,000 and 25,000, respectively. I do think I need to put this, actually, let's put this up a little. 33,000, my bad. Are Halving schedule events? They're not scheduled in terms of like a date on a calendar. They're scheduled in terms of how many blocks have been mined since the last halving. And, based on what the average block time is, we can estimate, kind of when the halving is going to be. That's where a lot of these countdowns come from. It's not scheduled in terms of it's going to happen on that day, but in terms of like the relative hash power, how fast, each block is, you can usually get it within like a week to 2 weeks of accuracy. Okay, potential short setup on Sol. I'll check it out, but I don't think I'll take it. Maybe, depending on how good it is. Oh, I see it. It's kind of like it's looking like LTC. Definitely a decent one. I do see that. Very nice. Very nice. Uh, 1% stop loss, is that 1% value or 1% BTC move? Both. So if I lose, I'm losing 1% of my portfolio, and that 1% is 1% of real price action. Now, it's usually about 15% of my margin is the stop, but it's 1% of real world price action. So if I'm on 15x leverage and we go down 1% and I'm in a long, I lose 15% of my margin. And if I'm using 6% of my account as margin and I lose 15% of 6%, that's 1% of the whole. Let me make sure that math is right. There's a calculator in the description if you want to use it. It's this website right here. So right now my account is worth, I think, like 4,000. I was about to say, did I just get hacked? No, that's my spot. 4,230. So 4,230, 6% margin, 15% would equal about 0.9%, leaving a little bit for market fees. How do you feel about the macro bearish ABC pattern on the weekly / monthly chart? Are you talking about the big ABC that we just talked about? This one right here? This one? Because yeah, I mean, it's definitely working itself out. But in terms of, when will it end? Typically we aim for around, the 0.618 to 0.382. So, I mean, this region looks pretty fantastic for a bottom. Now, you could definitely go a lot lower. Usually I aim for around the 0.441 when I'm taking, smaller time frame trades. But there's no way to know how this will react on a higher time frame. No, from the 2017 top. Oh, you're talking big boy. Yeah, if it happens, it happens. I mean, there is definitely that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 structure going on. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I hope not. Because then we might have to come all the way back down to 3K. That would suck. It would suck, but it would also be pretty awesome. Give people an opportunity to spartan the hell up. But no, it went to 60K. Now it's back down to 3K. It's not a good value. Will inflation and halving give a false? And what will it do to volatility? I have no freaking clue, man. My theory would be, though, is one gallon of gas gets you this amount of miles. All right, so theoretically, 1 Bitcoin is worth 1 Bitcoin. So as long as the theoretical trust in Bitcoin stays the same and inflation in US dollars goes up, then theoretically the price of Bitcoin should go up, because if the value of Bitcoin hasn't changed from what we think it should be, but the inflation of the currency that's being used to compare it against is going up, theoretically Bitcoin should either stay a little bit stable or go up. But hey, I have no clue, man. I ain't an economist. I just play the market. What's your strategy win ratio? I would say on a really shitty quarter, probably about 15 to 18%. If things are going phenomenal and I make the correct decisions, it could be 30%. But the average would probably be somewhere around 22%. I tracked it for 2 months and I was actually doing quite, shit. And it was still 22%. Would you look to play that short on the 2-day time frame that you're setting up? No, I'd rather keep to the lower time frames. Well, lower time frames, 1 hour, 2 hour. Look for more relevant time frames that would, be more attuned for someone like me. Theoretically, that makes, yeah. Like I said, I have no clue how this is all going to work itself out. I can only theorize with my little tiny monkey brain and eat steak and live life. Are you DCAing your HODL stack at these levels? I DCA'd at 28.8. I DCA'd at 33K. But until we get to 16.5, I can't touch with my spot stack. All right, because that's the next support, which is 16.5. Johnny on the spot. Hello, Panda Man. How you doing? Yeah, we just talked about Sol. Someone pointed it out. It does seem like it's a decent size setup. So whoever pointed out Sol, thank you. You're doing the Lord's work, not going down the 2-second time frame. That's a beautiful, healthy setup. All right. I applaud you. Same thing as LTC. So we'll see what happens. Definitely those are two avenues. Those are life rafts off the Titanic if things do start to shit the bed. So cling to them. Dude, I wish tenderloins did not cost as much as they do, because those were phenomenal. Like you could literally cut them with a butter knife. Insane. But I think I'll stick to like ribeyes and top sirloin. Seems to be like the best bet. Obviously it's not as good, but it will do, pig. It will do. How does spot work? Oh, just buying and selling. You don't get liquidated. That's one benefit of buying spot or selling spot. Why'd you delete that message? That wasn't a dumb question. So like with spot, if you were to short the market on spot, that's just a sell. Like let's say that we had a short ABC and you wanted to play just spot market. All right, on spot market, you would sell. And then if it got back above your stop loss, like a regular trade, you would just buy your Bitcoin back. That way, if it was to rip to the upside, you're still holding on to it. You lose a little bit, 1% of your buying power. But hey, you can always get it back. Do you set your conditional slightly under? No, above. I mean, it depends on what direction it's facing. So if it's a long ABC, my conditional would probably be somewhere about here, like a little bit above. And then if it's a short ABC, my conditional would be a little bit below. So you're right, depending on which one you were talking about. Don't feel pressured to hit the like button. All right. As much as I talk about like psychedelics and shit like that, ain't no way it's going to help the algorithm either way. I just appreciate the amount of people that have found me so far. Really, like the most, I just have to like give, thanks to like David and Ryan, I'm pretty sure they're the only reason why I have as many followers as I do. You have any opinion on the Uni USD chart fundamentally? Uni USDT, or do you want? Go. It had a nice ABC bottom, and we don't have any local high resistance until about here. So I mean, technically it could see a little bit more upside. Now, unfortunately, we did put in a lower low here, because otherwise I would say this would be your ABC if it was to start shooting to the downside. But we did put in a lower low ABC bottom here, and you can see it did very well after that. Let's look at the macro. Ooh, that's a toughie, man. It's because your macro A and your macro B are so high up that you're stuck using these smaller supports and resistances. I mean, you have this one right here, ABCA, B. Hopefully this was the end of your C wave before we might see some sort of thing like this. If this is going to continue, I know that got really hectic there. I'm very sorry. But ultimately on the smaller time frames, it did what it was supposed to. it's acting appropriately for ABCs. I mean, even over here, this was a nice ABC to the upside. That would have been a nice position. But if it is going to come down a little bit more, I mean, definitely, this would probably be our next target region right here. I am in 2 long positions, and I have a conditional for a short on LTC. Rodrigo, I already answered your question. You gotta listen. I said, right, if the market's really, really shit, I would say my win ratio is about 15%, maybe even 12%. All right, which, depending on the R&Rs that you're getting off your trades, probably won't be cutting it. You'll probably be chunking your account pretty hard. All right, but I would say on average, it's somewhere around 22% to 20%. And if the market's doing fantastically, you know, maybe a 30% if I'm taking shorter scalps. But typically, I try to go for longer trades, so that's going to impact the win ratio anyways. Because sometimes, you know, digging for diamonds, you hit a lot of dirt. So theoretically, the reason why the ABC pattern works is because we're in a high leveraged market. All right, which technically, like, I can't really even say that because ABCs have been working pretty much the entirety of the lifespan of crypto, if not the entirety of stocks and crypto. It's ridiculous, this one pattern. And I know that sounds like a, you know, like I'm trying to do an infomercial, but it's stupid. It's stupid how much it shows up. And so theoretically, all right, most people in the market that are newer, they typically breakout trade. All right, basically when you have a resistance and price comes above it, a whole bunch of people will enter longs or buy. All right, and then people will take advantage of that because we're playing a zero-sum game. It's basically like Call of Duty, but with lines and charts. All right, so someone goes and they sell their entire stack to push it back below this resistance. And as people are getting liquidated or stopped out of their short positions, they now have to sell back into the market. Actually, no. If someone is longing and they get liquidated or stopped out, they are therefore forcing price back down even lower because they need to sell in order to get out of their trade. So you're taking advantage of all the people that tried to breakout trade, and that causes an avalanche because as this group of traders up here gets stopped out, they cause enough sell pressure to push it down to this level where some people get stopped out, and then it pushes it down, down, down until you get to a point in the market where there's not that many people to get stopped out and things can settle down, move sideways. That's theoretically what's happening from what I can put together. But do I know that for certain based on statistics and high level strategy mumbo jumbo? No, I just, that's what I think. Have you ever heard of the 786 strategy? No, I have not. Next targets for BTC? I ain't got no clue, man. Hopefully we get back about 25,000, but who knows? Do you think it would work in Forex? I mean, I can't say Forex for certain, but I mean, I've seen like the Australian versus, you know, the Japanese yen. It works on there. I mean, just look at the US 100. Just go back, like whatever asset you think, you know, doesn't work with ABCs, just go back and look at it. All right, this ABC was kind of trash, I'll admit. All right, this one right here. But there was a little bit of a ABC pattern at the bottom of this trend, so. The thinner the trend, the worse it is, I will admit. But like a lot of these bottoms were pretty much fantastically textbook. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. And boom, boom, boom. All right, so hopefully that means this one is the same way too. A boom, boom, boom. Madden, what's going on, man? I'm afraid that the ETF is going to be the death of crypto. It was the death of the silver market, so might be the same thing. ABC, my Trinity Kite, my God. I have no clue what you mean by that. Besides BTC, how do you manage your stop loss? Well, I mean, I only really trade crypto. With stocks, you know, I'll buy and sell, but I typically give it a ample amount of time. Like AMD is really the only stock that I actively watch and buy. Because I mean, AMD is just like the underdog story of the world. At one point they were on top, but then like for like a good 15 years, they were shit. But then it came out with Ryzen. Everybody was like, it ain't gonna be that good. And it was that good. AMD had a phenomenal comeback. Fantastic. The best comeback. Very bigly. That was a shit Trump impression, but that was my best one. I saw this YouTube short the other day, and it was very funny. I'll have to find it for another stream, but there was this comedian. He was like, I think Trump would be the funniest president to see get shot. And he was like, okay, wait a second. He was like, because he'll probably like talk shit to the dude before he got shot, and then even after. And he did this impression of like Trump getting shot, and he was like, he'd probably make a funny sound like, ugh. I can't even do it. It was so good. I have to find it. But maybe it's in my likes. It was good. Oh, here it is. Okay. It was a good one. Here. Pop it up on the screen.
I think it's fair to say that Trump would have been the funniest one to see get shot. For real, he'd be talking shit like when it happened. Damn. He'd be doing like a rally. He'd be like, my opponent's gay. I walked in, I saw him. I said, wow, this guy's gay. The shooter would be coming out and be like, sit down. You're gay. Get hit. He'd definitely make a funny noise into the, like he'd get hit, be like, ah!
That's wow. That's
He'd fall funny.
I thought it was funny. That was a good one. I like how like some people might get offended like instantly just from like the first thing I like. There's some people out there that'd be like, you think it's funny that Trump would get shot? I'm like, no, it's a joke. Like, love or hate Trump, that was a funny joke. You have to admit. Kind of remind of like Cartman in some sort of way. Like the little noise he made when he got shot. Ugh. You're gay. Bring your fish to work day. Is he even in frame? Oh, he is. There he is. I'm in profit after taking your advice about higher time frames. Thanks a lot, man. Your work's changing lives. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I'm glad you're doing well. I've been watching you for a while, and this is my first live stream. Any more info on how you exit? You seem to say you exit when the market tells you to. Okay, so look. I've been overusing this example so much, but it's a real example that we played in its entirety. So I feel like I have a valid reason to do so. All right. So theoretically, we had a downtrend to an uptrend. From here, I can go, all right, well, we might put in a lower low to create a larger ABC like this. Or if we put in a higher low, we might have an extension of the B wave right here. All right, it could be an ABC B into a C. All right, so I'm just theorizing what the market can do and then working with it as new steps get put into place. All right, so right here at the bottom of this B wave, or theoretical B wave, at the time we really didn't know that it was going to be the bottom, we had an ABC right here. So I took that long position and I held on to it, all right, because this is definitely a possibility. But if we happen to go lower and we put in a lower low, I can always grab a long from there. I'm not afraid to let the market do what it do. If she dies, she die. All right. So I held this long trade. Let me clear up this chart a little bit for you. All right. I held this long trade all the way through all of this chop. I did take hedge trades in between. I took like little scalps here and here, but I did not take any more longs because do you see a long setup in this price action? No, you don't. This one was the last major ABC. All of this was chop nonsense. Absolute dog. All right. Didn't mean to offend you. All right. But once we put in this higher high here, this little uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, that created a much, much larger ABC than the initial one that I got myself into. So the largest ABC on the board always has probability. Now, if there is macro supports and resistances influencing that, my ideology might trade a little, change a little bit. All right. But since this was kind of like an influx region, there was no major supports or resistances. All right. This larger ABC has much more probability of working out than this one right here. So I got a hedge short position from this resistance right here. Now, I got out of my long trade because you go, well, Austin, did you just like give up? Did your long trade lose all of its profit? No. So once the market gave me a new place of confidence to go long from, all right, so once we put in this lower low right here, that's when I exited my long position and let my short ride. But if we got back above this A, I could have gone long again, still holding my short, just in case I was wrong about the market going down. All right. I'm never 100% positive about anything. All right. Based off of what the market's showing me, based off of like support and resistance, I'll have a bias, but you never know if it's going to upset you in terms of like do something you didn't expect it to do. All right. Did I expect it to be an absolute dolphin dive to the downside and crack its skull? No, but it happened. Looking calm, something wrong. My dog? Calm dogs are not. That's an indication that something's wrong. Are you talking about me? I don't think so. I don't think anything's wrong. But we just hit the 1 hour mark, guys. I'll keep it $1.50. Not really, because that'll be an hour and 50 minutes. But all right, guys. I appreciate your time today. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully around the same exact time, 1 p.m. EST. And yeah, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Market's performing a little bit better. We now see a 4 as the first digit of our account, and that's always appreciated. And yeah, hopefully things continue to get better and better. We'll see what happens. Because we don't know. We just don't know. All right, guys. Have a good night, or good day, or good evening. And we'll check back in on the market tomorrow and see what's happening. Oh, A lab come only when he's a bit sick. Gotcha. All right, guys, let's choose a song for the outro today. I don't really have like anything in mind. I'm a little bit dry on music here. Maybe we'll play something from the past. Go deep down. See what we got. We'll play, maybe not, because he's a little bit more popular now. That might get the channel blocked. Isn't it crazy that you can look at how, like, the chronological order of how you liked your songs, and you know exactly, like, your mental state at that time. Kind of crazy. Oh, I like this one. This one would be good. It's upbeat. All right. So I'm going to play this song. If you guys like it, as always, it's in the playlist in the description of the video. Appreciate you guys very much. I'll see you tomorrow, 1 p.m. EST. Let's do the thing and head off for today. By the way, someone put in a comment I saw, it was like, I like your channel, but that little creepy thing that you do at the end, I don't know about that. Other than that, I like your channel. Bye.
From your eyes, I just found paradise. This is my lullaby. Oh mama, don't you cry. Wipe those tears from your eyes. I just found paradise. This love will never die. This is my lullaby. Oh mama, this love will never die. Oh mama, this is my lullaby. I bet they believe in ghosts. I bet they believe in magic. But I believe that I'm here for a reason. Give you all that you could imagine. On my way out to Damascus, I said I'm feeding the masses. I know that they want a basket. Too late, I'm one with the matches. And they keep giving me matches. Spread it on God, I want ashes. Then face to face with the fashion. See, I keep with the addict. Oh yeah, we begging for static. Ain't it sweet diabetic? Dementia, yeah, you can forget it. We sick and a little bit of magic. Oh mama, don't you cry. Wipe those tears from your eyes. I just found paradise. This is my lullaby. Oh mama, don't you cry. Wipe those tears from your eyes. I just found paradise. This love will never die. This is my lullaby. This is my lullaby. I've been living with a passion, 'cause I'm keeping a buck was fashion. We be whipping, whip blasting. No crashing, we dashing, we mashing. Ain't nobody can match him. Now falling for all the distractions. Tell them I'm all about action. They reading my life without caption. Feel like my daddy be laughing. Crazy for making me captain. I'm pushing them most to the maximum. Till I'm let out in the casket. 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 Oh mama, don't you cry. Wipe those tears from your eyes. I just found paradise. This is my lullaby. Oh mama, don't you cry. Wipe those tears from your eyes. I just found paradise. This love will never die.